move forward with time is of the essence with those attendees who are present. And we still are looking at the Lite view. We're staying with the Lite view during this session. I think we are going to have some additional sessions getting to know the Pro and DocBox. But again, still looking at Lite, less is more approach. But now to start adding content to our account, to the transaction desk account. This templated content is going to be available to us through the Lite view. If you ever choose to integrate over to Pro, all the content that we add here will be available. So let's start by doing that. I'm in the top third of the page, center of the screen, going right to templates, going right to the meat of it, clicking on templates, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to predetermine forms and items that you want to associate when you have that new file. Because let's face it, unless somebody's calling you, whether it's a buyer or a seller, excuse my mouse there, a buyer or seller, you're going to start a new transaction file, and you know the core features that you want to add. So first thing we'd like to do, come in here, templates, we're in the templates function, that functional feature of Transaction Desk Lite, we're in templates. We know we're there, middle third, left-hand side of the screen, black font says templates. That's the functional page. What are our choices? Well, right now we don't have any templates, so our only choice is to create a new one, clicking on the go arrow. Functions of naming our template. We're going to do a buyer template, but you could do the same thing for listing. All your different types of transactions. Each type of transaction that you're commonly involved with, you can template. So with this example, I'm going to put that single-family residential buyer packet. Something to that effect. You name yours, hey, you're going to recognize it. So when that type of prospect contacts you, you're starting the appropriate type of file from your template. That's all we're doing on that first functional step, saving that name. Now we'll have the opportunity, the functional step of adding features, forms. We're going to add these forms to our transaction template. And we don't really have any forms in there, so our one option right now, I would like to add new form. Clicking on the arrow to go to the forms library to predetermine what forms I want to automatically add to my new file when I have a new single-family buyer prospect. So we get that file started. I'm going to double-click on the folder name. You can double-click on the folder name, or these are little plus signs. You can click on the plus sign to expand that folder as well. So there's two different ways to achieve the same result, expanding these folders. We're going to select the forms that we're going to automatically add. Now, granted, I'm a minimalist. I want to show you a few of the forms we're going to add in here, but feel free to add as many as you feel would be appropriate when starting your file. So, agency relationship form, buyer's financial disclosure, pressing now and holding the CTRL key to select the additional form, pressing and holding that control key. I'm not holding it down now. As I scroll through the options, I'm not holding the control key. Now that I found the option, I want to press and hold that CTRL key, select that additional form using the mouse click to select. Scrolling down, now pressing and holding CTRL to select. Go through. Like I said, I'm right from the beginning, I'm a minimalist. Pressing and holding the control key. I'm just going to select the ones I know I'll need. I'll add more as I go through that sale process. I'm going to click here on Add Selected Forms, bottom right corner, Add Selected Forms. But add in as many as you feel would be appropriate. You can always remove or ignore forms when you're working in your transaction file. So what you add to your template is not going to be locked in, if you will, to your new files. You will have the opportunity to adjust it, to revise it for your specific file. This is templating. This is just to give us a leg up, that little turbo boost at the start of the new file. Because that's not all we can do. Not only can we add the form, now we can go in and add any customary or routine information. I'm going to go into that contract for exclusive right. Clicking on the form name to launch it in Forms Editor. I'm still preparing my template. I'm preparing these common features of my agency agreement. I'm not talking about names, even my name or my broker's name. I'm talking about commission requests. I'm talking about protection period. and those shalls and shall nots and wills and will nots. When they are routinely the same, we can template that feature. So no dates, things like that, but as I scroll down broker's compensation, let me go ahead and minimize this column. On the right hand, I'm in the top third, right-hand side, that little red minus sign, get column for a moment as I want to go through this. Agency agreement to add in some of these routine features because I routinely ask for a percentage. I routinely ask for 120 days. I think it's shall. Broker from seller representing. Shall reduce. Sure. Of course it will. Scroll through. Are these for a single-family residential buyer routine checkboxes? Jump-starting my file with my forms pre-filled with things I know will typically be the same. Add those features. My name, my client's name, that will be added at the file level. This is kind of that pre-file. Standard language or provisions. Clauses. That's what we're going to look at here in just a bit. Standard languages or stips. Type it in or paste. So that looks good. That is the content that we want to try to just pre-fill with. Leg up, turbo boost. Clicking on the plus sign, top third, top right corner. We are a forms editor, so we can go through. Let's do one more. I think you get the point, but I'm going to really drive it home here. I got to click over to the contract for exclusive right. That's where we are. To the purchase agreement, excuse me. Yes, we do want to save our changes as we bounce over to the purchase agreement. Because I think there could be routine fields in the purchase agreement. Here, Austin, Texas, it's very routine for sellers to pay for title policies, buyers to pay for surveys. There's very routine features of opening offers that typically are going to request. I'm going to go through and kind of feel that out a little bit, fill in those fields. Again, because it's when we're on our file level, we can update it if we need to. But to get started, to get it pre-filled right from the start, we're going to do that. Pause this for a second. But again, not client or file specific information. If it's typically a check, let me clear that or that. If it's typically a check, select that. I think it's probably, generally speaking, checkboxes. If they are typically, now it's point taken, type in standardized items. Type or paste. Go through those wills and will nots, shalls and shall nots, buyer or seller when routinely the same. They routinely take conventional and FHA. No, one or the other, I'm going conventional. Things of that nature. Do you typically ask for percentages, so forth. Type up the forms, pre-fill them with this really routine information, standard options. Save your changes. I'm going to exit from the form editor because now we've templated the forms, but not just the forms that we want to add, but typed up with pre-filled with some good information that's going to routinely be the part. But not only forms, but also documents. That's the next functional tab. We're back in the Forms tab of our single-family residential buyer packet. We recenter everybody. We added 5 forms. We then went into the forms, typed up the forms, pre-filled them. Still working in our template. We are in the single-family residential buyer packet, generating this content. Our next tab, left to right there, documents. whatever you can't find in the forms library. Perhaps for your new buyers, you have a particular presentation where you present, or a MLS input sheet, so you know what features are going to be important, what property features they're interested in. Maybe you have some other types of questionnaires or other documents. Whatever you cannot find in the forms library, you can upload as a document. So just with that teaching moment in mind, I would like to, again, there's nothing here, so we don't really have any features within these drop-downs, but recognize them, those phrases, these menus for the options they will bear. Clicking on the go, find the document wherever I have it stored, locally, desktops, or drives, or other storage devices. We'll just throw in the logo there. Now that's the ping. No PNG. JPEGs, yes. PNGs, no. So let me grab the correct one. A JPEG. There we go. Continue to add more if you have more documents. Otherwise, bottom right, bottom third of the page, right-hand side, we're going to upload the document to our template. So each time that we start our new files from the single-family buyer packet, this document will be added along with the set of forms that we've added so far, typed up with our routine information. Template your transaction files. You could even create one for a seller now. Do that quickly. Let's see. Eye on the time. Should have plenty of time. Getting right into the meat of it. Create them. Templates. So next we'll just look at clauses. Then we'll start a file from one of these templates. I would like to create new template. See what features we have now. Create or delete. It also emphasizes you can come back and revise it, add to it, remove it. If you added a form you thought you were going to use more, come back, take it out. Add ones that you have been using more often. Otherwise, let's go through, just create one for the listing side now. Arrow to go to the next functional step, which is, giving it a name, single family, residential, SFR, listing. Packet. I try to go fast, it takes me longer. Save our packet, name, forms list. So add now the listing forms to this second template. What other ones can you think of? Multifamily, condominiums, lot and land. All the different transactions that you're involved with, they all require different form sets. Clicking the plus sign this time, residential listing. Click to select. Press and hold the CTRL key, click to select. Control key, and so forth. Go through, select. Add them to your template. Got to be some pretty routine information in the listing contract. Click on the form name to open that. Create a form template. We're just going to do the one this time. Promise. Not going to re-emphasize this though. Just now you stood up. It takes us 20 minutes to set this, and you're going to save at least that much time with each file from the template. Shrinking the column, red minus sign, top third, shading to the right, shrink that column. Scrolling down the page, property is or is not. Typically I think it is not, but again, it doesn't matter if it's not, we change it at the file level. Seller, we don't want to do that now. Seller may or may not list. I don't think so. Unless it's me. Okay, now property information, percentages. Go through. This stuff is, you're trying to get these each time. Typically when you have that, new single-family residential listing. And just scrolling through fillable fields, filling them out. Property will come in from file side. Will agree. Yes, no. Typically, I would say that's yes. Other, type or paste. Fill them out. Looks pretty good. That'll be file driven. Looks good. Saving my changes. Top third of the page, left-hand corner, saving. Exiting from form editor. Go through, type up those routine features. Upload documents to your template. Maybe you have a listing presentation. Maybe you have that home service warranty contract that you want to upload. So every time you start a listing file, you have your set of forms, office disclosure that you need access to. Same set of forms here. Add another cover sheet. PDF document, Word documents, Excel spreadsheets. Maybe you have a seller's net proceeds, listing or a contractor's database. Click on that up arrow. One of those spreadsheets of a bunch of make-readies and painters and home stagers. Perhaps you add that to your buyer side, or both buyer and sellers. They need that type of database to draw from. Upload these documents back into your template. Whatever they might be. Whatever you cannot find in forms, right? Because forms are online in the forms library. Forms are fillable, found in the forms library. Documents are everything else. PDFs, Word documents, spreadsheets, image files. We've created templates. Top center of the screen. We've created these templates. You can now use them when starting transaction files. Or even in the Pro view, you can import templates into an existing transaction file. Pro just turns up the heat a little bit more. Templates, but what else? What other content? Clauses. Clicking on clauses now. This one's a snap. Clauses, whatever standard language provisions, stipulations. I would like to add new clause. Clicking on go. Again, the functional unit, clauses. The options, I would like to. Clause. I just have a few go-tos, final walkthrough, whatever your special language is for those specific sales situations. Language used when requesting final walkthrough. Prior closing and funding. Something to that effect. Type it in or paste it if you have a little Word document going already, something that you saved along the way. Copy and paste your content title, contents, bottom right third, save. Now when working in Forms Editor, you can access the clause, paste it into that provisions field, stipulations field, blank addendum or amendment. Add the clauses, standard language. Pardon my mouse there, got a little jumpy. Clauses and templates. So now we've added this content. So let's start a file. Let's see how we can access this and how it benefits us when starting these new files. So from this view, I'm just going to click here on transactions. Now we'll go to home. Let's hold home, kind of recenter ourselves. Check for questions. You can use that go-to training sidebar to type questions as we go through this demonstration. So you've set up some content, building files faster. Now you get the call. Now you actually working phone duty, or you got a referral or an email message off of some of your marketing. You want to start a new file. You've got that new prospect. You log into your account, click on transactions. Clicking that transactions button is going to take us to the functional of starting a new page or accessing our existing. So that's kind of the functional page that we're on right now. Top third, left-hand side, transactions, bold black letters, that's where we are. These are the files that we've generated before. We're going to create a new one now, but we can always access the ones that we created previously to work in that file, to manage it, to revise it, to add documents, to deliver, outbound, so forth. functional page transactions. I would like to, the choice menu, a couple of choices now that we have some files. We get a couple of choices to create new or delete. I'm going to go with the create new for this. Arrow to go to the next functional step. Getting our file started. Still the only requirement is to give the file a name. And the name of our client here, I'm going to go with that buyer client. And our client's name is Moore Jessica. And again, however you like to name your files, something like that. Maybe that's too much. Maybe just the name is enough. However it's going to benefit you. From here down, optional ways to start adding content. So what type of content? Well, this is a residential sale transaction type. I can import. I might not have this MLS detail right now, but I certainly can do it. I might as well show you the feature. That opportunity to import. I think that's one. Make sure that your MLS number is lining up with the property type that you're going to search in the MLS search. In this case, we are going to go with that MLS ID. And we are additionally going to use a transaction template to start our new file. So as we work down this page, we have these ways to now continue to add content. Here's the big content. Transaction template, selecting that option. Which template? Your buyer, your seller, your tenant, your landlord. Buyer, yes. I've been designated the buyer's agent. Chose residential sale, buyer packet. Going to be that contact to the file. Bottom right, I could change it again if you're neither or both. So I always like to, it's never locked in. You always have the opportunity to adjust. Saving. Bottom right corner, bottom third. Saving our new file. Reaching out to the MLS to grab that MLS detail. Populating the new file with forms, documents, contact information. Functional page, transaction file. This is our transaction file now. We are in our file. The template's been used. It's done. Nothing more to do here or see here for the template. Goes back, waiting for the next time to start the file. Everything we do forward is client-specific to this Jessica Moore transaction file. We are in the Details tab of our new transaction. Details. What type of content? All of our property information came through. All the list price and so forth. Maybe we want to add some content. Looks like this was successful. So let's just add a little extra detail so you can see the auto-population to your forms. Excuse my mouse there. Got stuck. Total financing. Just say, make it easy. Got some dates, so that's good. Blue icons, just to verify, the blue icons are the date field. Clicking on them will yield those menus. Allow pop-ups from your transaction desk account. Please do allow those pop-ups. Date field, save prompts. Add our details. Any inclusions or exclusions added in. This information is going to populate our forms, right? Next tab, moving from left to right, contacts. Yes, another great reason for pop-ups. Want to save those changes. Folks have come across, we could clean them up a little bit. Take a few of these folks out. Leave Wendy in there once. Because again, I would like to. We are in the functional tab of contacts. What would we like to do within this tab? Right now we would like to delete a couple of the folks that came over from the MLS import. But I also would like to add a transaction contact. Still in the functional tab of contacts, deleted a few off of there, adding a few on. Because I certainly want to add at least my one buyer prospect. Jessica. It's like a type well. Tab key to go through the features. If you know, did you get any of this information? City, throw a little Austin at you there. A little out-of-town buyer, cell phone, email address. Some of this too, if you can get the opportunity, you'll start building on this. Then just sign. Talking and typing right now seems to be failing me. You're starting to build this contact, adding her in manually the first time, saving her, adding to my contacts, bottom third, bottom left corner, selecting this checkbox as I slide over to the bottom right and save. Remember, two things happen. Jessica's added to my file. Jessica's saved to the contacts database within my transaction desk account. Save there for future access, added here to my transaction file. Will autofill that first buyer position on all my forms and contracts. If there's a second buyer, brothers, sisters, parents, children, husbands, wives, add them in separately. Add each contact in separately so that they will autofill printed name fields so that you can start generating signature using first and last names, middle initials, start generating those contacts to your transaction file. Next functional tab, Forms. Clicking on the Forms tab, bam, forms automatically added, pre-filled so far. So what's our next step? Crucial step. I would like to, so we're on the functional tab of Forms, the choices within the Forms tab, auto-populate forms. Let's pause for a moment of silence. Auto-populate your forms with your transaction file detail. Yes, details, dates, contact information, so that both importing from my transaction file but also pre-filling from my template. So now, for all intents and purposes, I'm just going to go and review and verify that the features are correct for this particular client or property and type in whatever errant fields are still required. So again, still within the Forms functional tab, clicking on the form name, go into Forms Editor. Contract for exclusive right. This is the one that we filled out the most because this may be the first one that you're going to want to get signed anyway. That agency disclosure as well that you need to present the contract. Collapsing that column of forms on the right with them red at the top. Populated from our file, buyer, broker, let's get the date, number of pages, going out on a limb there. Tab key on the keyboard. Doesn't work out of that field. Buyer is, you can still type in here, or assigns, do something like that. Tab to the next. Date field, start the agency agreement. Is it today? Is it this weekend? Is it ready to go forward? Expirations, you just throw a next year in there. Scrolling down, percentages have been added, days not to exceed. I don't know if there's supposed to be a fee there. Anybody ask for retainer fees anymore? Again, if not, or if so, you can certainly put that in to make it a standard field. Shalls or shall nots have been added, verifying, checkboxes are correct. If not, I can change it. Let me go with it. Pre-filled checkboxes, auto-populated from the file, names, fields, such forth. We're in here as well. I also want to point out our clause. So, final walkthrough, not that you would add it to your agreement, but maybe so. I'm at about line 110. I want to paste in my clause. Follow me to the top third of the page. Insert clauses. It's going to pop pop-ups, value of pop-ups. It's going to show me the clauses that I've generated for my account. Opportunity, two ways to, when you're only pasting one, you can actually do it two different ways. You can select it, and then you can see the contents. If you choose to, you can copy those contents. standard way, the traditional way, would be to pick, select, middle column, add it to the selected side. So now it's here, selected. Middle column, copy to form. It's going to ask if you want to, at the top of the input area would be in the top left-hand indent at line 109. So I'm going to say no, so that it will paste at the position where I had it. So you can paste it that way. And now the other way I did it, I copied it, right? So as I go to that next full field, I can paste it. So good opportunity there. Content coming through, we didn't put the address, but we got the city. Looks good to me. Saving my changes. Going to the next form. Clicking on the plus sign, top third, top right, clicking there, expanding that window to go to the next form. Now just look at the agency relationships, and then we'll hop out and go put this together in signing. The form loads up, collapsing, verifying, and again, these are still fillable fields. I could type into these fields, they're still fillable. If I needed that, printed name, or as I scroll down the page, looks clear. So exiting from form editor, type up your forms. Prepare them now for digital signatures. Right, so that is really the value of building better files faster. So in a snap, you're from starting your file to preparing them for signatures. So we'll go through those steps. Clicking on Authentisign. Mouse for a moment. If you do have questions, type them using the Go-To Training sidebar, the chat section. We'll be reviewing those as we go through. No real need to raise hands. Just type questions in that chat section of the Go-To Training sidebar, and we're reviewing and answering those as we go through. Authentisign, signings that we've generated previously. So hopefully this emphasizes to you can come back at any time, right? And review these, review the progress, update email addresses, resend invitations. That's how you can access and deliver updates and progress. Otherwise, we want to start a new one. We're creating one based on the forms that we just typed up for the client or prospect that we just talked to. Importing from a saved transaction. Jessica. Clicking on Continue. Right before I do, just notice Create a Blank Signing. So as I click on Continue, just like to emphasize that you can use Authentisign as a standalone. You can create blank signings, start from scratch basically. Just give it a name. I don't want to make it sound more difficult than it is. It's if you're not using files, if you're not working with transaction files, you can still use Authentisign. If you just got a document that you need a quick signature on, you can just create a new from scratch, give it a name. You know, we're importing from a file, so this information is populating for us. Probably single-family rental, maybe it's the agency disclosure. That's what that bad was. Buyer agency and agency disclosure. Kind of like it's funny. That's the name of this signing. Clicking Next. So you can identify, we come back, it's going to be different than the contract. That's going to be different than the counter. It's going to be different than the final settlement. It's going to be different than, don't know what would be next, but it would be different than all those different unique signing events. So who's going to participate in this signing? Jessica is certainly, as a signer, yes, she's going to have signature and initial requirements, and myself. And I will also have signature and initial requirements. And clicking on Add. Clicking Add to this one, I don't know if we'll necessarily see the throughput back into our transaction file, but I want to show a little bit more about ordering. When you have multiple participants, you can put them into a different order. We can add additional participants to our signing. So these were within our file. We can simply add them manually. Not working in a file, we can add manually names, first, middle, email address. If we have them saved in our transaction desk account, we can import them from our transaction. If we're adding them manually, we can save them to our contacts for future use. And again, when you are adding the participants, even when we're looking at our name or our buyer's name, is that how we want to build their signature? This is part of that signature process. So if we want to add that middle initial, or if Jessica uses our nickname for her signature, we want to find out a little bit about that if we can, to use the naming fields here to start building those characters that they're going to want for their signatures. We also want to think about what type of signer they are. Now, Jessica's a buyer, I'm a selling agent. If we add more cooperating agents or brokers, selling brokers, if our broker would be required in on this, there are Authentisign templates. As we import from Instinet forms, signature and initial blocks will be applied based on the types of signers and initials that are required. So when those match, when we have a buyer type being imported into a buyer agency with buyer signatures, those are going to be pre-plotted for us, as we'll see here in a moment. So type does carry a little bit of opportunity there to choose the correct one. So when you're adding your participants, find out a little bit about how they might like that signature to look. If you want yours to be different, just click on the name to open it up and make any additional updates to it. So maybe it's Jessica L. More. She'd like to use her middle initial in her signature and initial requirements. Then we just save that participant, updates that how Authentisign is going to generate that initial and signature for that participant. Again, we could order them differently if we wanted myself to sign first and then, but otherwise Jessica's going to be the first signer. Next functional step, after adding participants, the next functional step is importing typed up forms and or uploading stored saved documents. So for this example, I'm just going to use that agency relationships and the contract for exclusive right. Certainly can choose them all, or whatever ones we need for this signing event, adding them. And that's the value of the integration between Instinet and Authentisign, one platform integrated so that templates have been generated for these forms, signing templates to plot those buyer and selling agent requirements for us. But not only can we import, we can upload. You can upload other documents to your signing. Whatever you need to have signed, your kid's report card, you can upload to a signing and sign that document online. So whatever it's going to be, a PDF, a Word document, Excel spreadsheet, an image, it doesn't matter. You can upload it in from your saved files, your jump drives, or wherever you have it currently located. So upload them. You can certainly import them from forms and transactions. You can import them from your online doc box if you have standard disclosures or other documents that saved online. But get your documents and forms, imported typed up forms, as well as uploaded saved documents. Fax even, attachments to email messages, just different ways to get your documents and forms for signatures and initials. Next functional step, preparing them or reviewing them, reviewing initial and signature requirements, applying where necessary, complete anywhere that we would require signature on a paper page. We want to add a digital signature on the digital. And again, we are going to benefit from the templates that have been applied. Left-hand column, thumbnails, pages of our signing. Right now they are thumbnails. We're looking to have that more of a scrolling feature in the future, but it is thumbnails now. Zooming in, your zoom out and zoom in, find your ratio. Mine's fit width. That's the one that I prefer. Drawing tools so that you can make little micro adjustments. You could do a little strike over to cross something out. Use that line annotation in the top third. top third of the page, right-hand side. I can use that line annotation to do a strike over. I could use the T to create the text, little text box to type in a little change. You get little micro changes. If you noticed you spelled something wrong or wanted to add a little update, use those drawing tools. Both signing parties here, Jessica is highlighted, so any features that are drag and dropped onto the page will be for Jessica. No signature block and date ready. Before we leave that, don't want to walk past that too fast. Even though it's plotted, you can still manage it. You can still move it around. I'm clicking and holding, and I can pick it up. I can move it around. If I didn't like where it was positioned, I could take an opportunity to move it. I could right mouse click, yield a right mouse menu so that we could remove it, or flip over that little sign here button if we wanted to make that above or below it. We could add a printed name if we had forgotten that printed name under. So every stamp, here's the date fields, hovering, using the right mouse, that underutilized right mouse button yields these other menus. You could remove it. You could format it differently if you wanted something other than, month, day, year, year. 2, 2, 4. You could change it to something else. What else? The different ways. You could even have it written out if you chose that. It's transparency and so forth. So formatting of the date stamps. Another initial field at the bottom, same feature, can click on it. We just need to adjust it over just a smidge. Right click on it. If I need a full name block with it, probably not, but it's there if need so. Add a date stamp if you want to date stamp that initial as well. The block will capture it when they click on it. The stamp will just stamp the page as well. I believe that there's, let's just go through each thumbnail. Just click on the thumbnail. It'll load that, see if there's any requirements. I don't think there's any requirements on page 2. I think there are a few more on page 3. Yeah, perhaps not. Certainly the final page, which is plotted for us, the signatures, ourself, date stamps. Again, still, just because it's here doesn't mean we can't adjust it, format it, take appropriate steps with it. In the instances where you actually need to drag and drop additional, signing party to top, highlighted party, click and hold. I'm going to choose a initial block, or here, let's show you an optional one. Click and hold, drag and drop an initial, or whatever is appropriate onto the page. So all you have to do, click and hold to drag and drop the feature on. Again, move it around, right mouse click on it to yield the menu, to manage, plot, and otherwise add those additional signature or initial requirements. Once you have placed all of the digital where you would require ink, we're going to go ahead and click on, go to the next functional step. Top third, next, to the final functional step, to review, finalize, and deliver. That is the next step. View, finalize, deliver to our client. Participant can go back to any step at this point. Restart. Names, participants, we could go back and add additional participants to this signing. If there was a sudden second buyer, we could go in and add initial and signature requirements. And even within the signature requirements, there's printed name fields, so you could take care of both of those features just by adding the second participant to that step 2. Add any more additional forms or documents. Again, review, finalize, customize. Make sure your emails are typed correctly. Edit them if they are not. Customize the outbound email message. You are sender in name only. Out of your transaction desk, your forms, your Authentisign, you are sender in name only. It's coming from transaction desk at Instinet Forms, or excuse me, do not reply at transactiondesk.com. So your sender, but you can customize the subject line of that invitation. You can customize the body of that email message. So take those opportunities if that is a value. Otherwise, top right corner, we're going to finalize and send the invitation any good program, it's not going to take our first click as our final answer, because once we do finalize the send, when I click here, finalize send, it really does lock down the signing documents. I do have options going forward. You can see a reset button here. So if I wanted to kind of say, oops, I forgot something, I could reset it and start over or add some features at this point. But the documents themselves are pretty well locked down. Without resetting it, I couldn't add any more participants. I couldn't add any more digital blocks or so forth. So reset is a value at times when you just want to wipe the slate a little bit in terms of the email invitations. You can go back to adding more content if necessary. But otherwise, it's been emailed to that first signing participant. And I'm going to pause my screen for a moment. I think we can get through this first signer. We've got about 10 minutes left in our hour session, so I'm feeling like we can make it here to get through that first signing participant. And I don't know if we'll get through both signing participants, but certainly the first one. Again, typing and talking, not always good at both of those. Just want to get logged into this account. It always helps when you spell the name right. A bit of nervous anticipation there. We have logged in to the email account. Not been delivered quite yet. These are examples of previously emailed Authentisign invitations. This is real time, so sometimes it does take a couple minutes for it to send that invitation out. And of course, no patience for any of that. See if I can access one of these other ones. While that one comes in, I'm going to show you what a file looks like. Waiting for that invitation to be delivered. With knowing me, I might have spelled the Authentisign wrong, but I thought I reviewed it, looked correct. We'll give it another minute or two. While that happens, I just want to click here. This is a previously signed. I'm going to click here on the view so we can open up this PDF. It is a PDF. The file is generated a PDF document with a unique Authentisign ID or hash, so each one is unique in that way. Here's a little showing of the strike over feature and typing new. Date stamp as I hover. We can see content or details about the signing, but good signatures there. Digital stamp there. As we scroll through, we'll see those additional features. Because I'm looking at this through Google Chrome, I'm not getting all of the content I would in Internet Explorer or Firefox that support Adobe a little bit better than Chrome. But we can still see very clearly the signatures and initials through this final document. Again, whoever participated in the signing, whether they were a signer or a reviewer or a carbon copy only, they're going to get a copy of this automatically sent to them. As soon as it is complete, everybody gets a final copy. Let me download this. Yes. Let me minimize that. See if it's coming. Pause my screen. I have a feeling I sent it to the wrong address. That looks good. Anyway, that's what the final one looks like. Hopefully you have seen this progress. We have about 6 or 7 more minutes, so slowing us down a little bit, but hopefully we'll see it in a moment. to walk through to click to accept. So it's nothing to if you've seen it before, we're just going to cover it again. Clicking to accept. Perhaps it would be a little better to go back to our transaction desk account and talk about the doc box a little bit and some of those document management now. Once the documents are finalized and sent, as you receive them back, as everyone receives their emails with PDF attachments, showing my screen again, back in that account, the functional documents tab, functional tab of documents, when the signing goes through, when it's completed by all signing participants, each participant receives a final copy, one just like the one we were reviewing. Additionally, a copy is delivered to the transaction file. Once this is a document available within your transaction, pardon my mouse for a moment, we're in the functional tab of documents, our choice lists, our feature list, if you will. We could email that document outbound to other parties, whomever would need a copy, title officers, loan originators to get loan payoff amounts, whomever. When we deliver it electronically, it retains all the electronic components, IP address, time and date stamp, all of those features of those signature blocks are retained. If it's faxed, if you send it via fax, the initials and signatures are printed, the date stamps are printed, so it's available. It's best in electronic format. It is available as well as printed. So hopefully you are using electronic signatures to avoid that print cycle and not printing out that final PDF. Email it. You can fax it if required, but otherwise retain it digitally, online for state-required retention periods. Access it from any internet-enabled device. Pausing my screen, that really is right at that hour mark. I'm going to be very mindful of everybody's time. I'm going to take one last look here to see if that came through. I was a little surprised that it hasn't. But I have so many that, let's see if I can just get into one of them and show you here. So I'll show you to walk through just the signature and initial blocks to make sure that you've seen that one time before. So I didn't have the opportunity to show you the subject line and the email, but once they receive that email message and click to start the signing, the first thing they do is go through the terms of service. Everybody, yourself, your clients, whomever is participating in an Authentisign signing, the first time you participate, you have to review the terms of service. You can choose to. You are agreeing to participate in digital signatures, e-signatures, FHA approved, e-sign compliant, meets or exceeds all the federal requirements for digital signatures. And then you create a profile for yourself, username, which is your email address, a unique password, and choose a font style or signature style, a font, bottom third, bottom left, that's going to represent your handwritten, or just something that you want to represent your digital signature. It doesn't have to be the same exact as your, except that change there, bottom center. It doesn't have to be the exact replica of your handwritten. You just have to, or your clients or participants, are just going to have to agree that the unique identity I have approved are the electronic representation of my signatures and initials when signing e-signature process, and confirm and accept. You go through that the first time. Each subsequent signing event, just the password. It's just going to ask you for that password. It's going to ask your participant password. They call them. They will have to do the password retrieval because you as the creator will not know what it is. Only they will know and Authentisign will know. So there are opportunities there. So let me go ahead and zoom in. We're going to start this signing to go through. Click to accept. So we start the signing. Authentisign locates the first signing block, click to accept block. That is at the point where the font is applied and the date stamp is as well. So we click to accept. That's when that signature style is applied. That is when that date stamp is adhered. And once you click there, just because you've done, we've completed, we have 0 items remain to be clicked, top, third, center of the screen, 0 items remaining. We can still reject it as a signer. If I go back now and start reading it and reviewing it, and there's parts of it that I don't like, I can still reject it. Even after I click done, accept all one time, still have the opportunity to stay and review. So participants have an opportunity to review, stay, familiarize before they complete the signing, before they complete their portion of the Authentisign signing, and then it's delivered on to the next signing participant. Next part goes through the authentication. If it's their first time, the terms of service. If it's a follow-up signing, or any second through infinity, your profile, just asking for that password. So glad we just got to show that. Otherwise, we're going to go back to. Pardon me here for a second as I struggle to find so many. There we go. So many browsers open, so little time. So as it's completed, document delivered right back to that transaction file. Functional tabs of the file. History, last one, captures all of the activity that takes place within the online transaction. Time and date stamped when it happens. So when that document is returned to the file, time and date stamped when it's been received. Email notification sent out to everybody. Back to the home link, top left corner, top left, third, top left corner, re-raising this audio message. Thankful for the opportunity to present. Very appreciative of your time, energy, and effort to participate. If you ever have questions of the technical sort, toll-free, 800-668-8768. Give them a call. They are happy to help as best they can with technical issues, browser-related or other internet technologies. Recorded content, youtube.com/Instanet webinars for recorded content, anything from a 1 to 5 minute tutorial on DocBox print driver or the email to fax service and these other features of your transaction desk member benefit, features that we will cover in the Getting to Know the Pro in DocBox webinar session. So look forward to seeing you in those additional sessions as well. If you would like to log in outside of your MLS, you do have that transactiondesk.com/login option, so you can log in from any website or internet device using transactiondesk.com/login. If these large group webinars have been good, but you'd like a personalized for your office or team, they are free. You can submit day and time requests. We can tailor the content to exactly what you want to learn about in exactly the time that you have available. So submit those requests. We confirm and deliver go-to-meeting requests. Let us know how we can best assist you implementing your newest member benefit. With that said, I will continue to remain available to answer questions through the chat section of the GoToMeeting sidebar. I am going to log out of the audio section, but please do continue. I will answer your questions right through that chat section as well. And until we webinar again, I hope that you have a tremendous, tremendous day.